This is Jared Horak for today's RacingDigest.com, and my Today's Racing Digest video series continues. Saturday, May 19th, 2018, we're going to do the 13th race from Pimlico Racecourse. It's going to be the Grade 1 Preakness Stakes for 3-year-olds, 9.5 furlongs on the main track. This is my hometown race. We've been going Preakness week in the mornings, watching the horses work out, watching them arrive and come to Pimlico Racecourse. So we'll make some observations about some of the horses and talk about some of their today's Racing Digest numbers and if we think that they can win the race. Let's start with number 1, Quip, 12-1 morning line. He's run well in both of his starts this year, and he earned improved CPR numbers from today's Racing Digest. The CPR takes into account pace, final time, and closing fraction. And in the Tampa Bay Derby, Quip earned a career best number, winning that one, and then he came back and finished second in the Arkansas Derby. He had enough points to qualify for the Kentucky Derby, but they decided that they wanted more time between starts. They've been pointing to the Preakness ever since the Arkansas Derby. He's got that early pressing speed. Now, the negatives with him, from that inside post, he's going to have to hustle a bit early, probably, and his pace ratings are a little bit low, so he's going to be facing some quality pace rivals in here, and he may have to hustle a little bit from that inside post. We did get to see him arrive, didn't get to see too much of him. Got to see him arrive, though, earlier this week. He looks solid. A smaller horse, but a tough competitor. Number 2 is Lone Sailor. He's one that I only got to see him get off the transport this week. I didn't really get to see anything else yet. But he has 9 career starts with a win, 3 seconds, and a third. So he only has that one win. One of his seconds was a good effort in the Louisiana Derby, in which he rallied to finish second. He was 8th in the Kentucky Derby. He had a little bit of trouble. Now you look at this race. You go through the field. There's a lot of horses that have early pressing speed. Lone Sailor is the only stone closer in this race, so he's going to be last early under his new rider, Irad Ortiz Jr., and he should be finishing in the stretch. I certainly would not be surprised if he ended up finishing 2nd, 3rd, or 4th. Number 3, Sporting Chance, a long shot and one of 2 runners for trainer D. Wayne Lucas. I did get to see quite a bit of Sporting Chance. He's a little bit of a head case, this one. He has 7 career starts with 2 wins, a 2nd, and a 3rd, but both of his wins were in 2-year-old sprint races. He's been competitive in some route races, but he's a little bit of a goofball on the track. He ducks in. He actually, Free Drop Billy, he ended up fouling that one 2 times in the hopeful as a 2-year-old, and then he actually Sporting Chance finished 3rd in the Bluegrass, and they took him down. So Sporting Chance is one. I think he's better around 1 turn. And the other thing is, his better races as a 2-year-old, he showed speed. And maybe from post 3, maybe they jump out there and they try to get him to show some speed in this spot. Number 4 is Diamond King. He's 4 for 6 lifetime. He was first in the Federico Tessio Stakes at Laurel Park last time out. The Federico Tessio is a win, and you're in for the Preakness. So he qualified for the Preakness. They entered him in the Peter Pan last week, but they decided they were going to go to the Preakness. He's another one that has some speed, and he did earn a career best CPR in that Tessio win. But his problem is his best numbers so far are towards the bottom of the field, and here he's going to have to run a career best to even split the field in this race. Number 5, Good Magic. Certainly a big win contender. He's very consistent. 6 career starts, 2 wins, 3 seconds, and a 3rd. He was first in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile as a 2-year-old, earned a big number. He was your 2-year-old champion. He came back this year, finished a disappointing 3rd in his first stakes start. And then in the Bluegrass Stakes, he started to show some of that 2-year-old form where he came from an outside trip, an outside post, a wide trip, and he was able to win the Bluegrass. The Kentucky Derby, the pace was quick. Good Magic was right up on that pace throughout, and he just held second. I think maybe a 1.25 miles was a little bit too far. He was getting tired at the end, chasing those quick fractions. Solid effort, though, from him. Now, he's coming back in 2 weeks for trainer Chad Brown. Chad Brown saddled your Preakness winner, Cloud Computing, last year. Curlin is the sire, and Curlin won the Preakness Stakes in 2007. So he has some of that Preakness Stakes pedigree, and also the trainer ended up saddling the Preakness winner. So Good Magic looks like a solid threat, stalking the pace. I did get to see a little bit of Good Magic this week, the day he came in. He was napping when we first saw him, and then he woke up from his nap. We were able to snap some pictures of him. We saw him moving around a little bit. Then they did walk the shed row later on in the day. He looked good. He's been looking good in his gallops. The first day that he galloped, he got a little bit sweaty, but it was very humid that day. And then he's been able to get a good feel of the wet track. And when the Kentucky Derby was the first time he ever even saw a wet track. So that was a good effort. And now since then, he's been in Maryland. It's been raining like crazy here. And he's been able to get a good feel of the Pimlico surface. Look for him to run a good race. Number 6 is Tenfold, a very lightly raced, only 3 starts. He's 2 for 3. He won his first 2 career starts under today's rider, Ricardo Santana Jr., and then last time out in the Arkansas Derby, he finished 5th. Now he's one that's going to have to improve. He sort of looks like Quip a little bit. He's got good race spacing, he's got some ability, he's got the tactical speed like a lot of horses in this race, and he's going to have to work out a trip. Number 7, Justify, obviously the one to beat in here. 4 for 4 lifetime, 2 for 2 on a wet track. He won that Kentucky Derby up on a fast pace. He was able to turn away Good Magic and win nicely. In the Santa Anita Derby, he earned strong Today's Racing Digest numbers. And if he earned any kind of numbers like any of his, basically his first 4 starts, he's going to be tough. 2 for 2 on that wet track. The track should be wet for the Preakness. We got a very good look at Justify this week coming in. Outstanding looking individual. He looks like he looks the part of a horse that's going to be competing in these Triple Crown races. He looks powerful. He's big. He towers over the rest of his rivals, and he looks like one that's going to be on the pace throughout. But he's not going to offer any value. But he could certainly win the second leg of the Triple Crown. Finally, number 8, Bravazo. He had a couple of stakes placings as a 2-year-old, and then he won his first 2 starts this year, earning nice CPR numbers, back-to-back good numbers at Oaklawn Park, and then he won the Risen Star at Fairgrounds. But then after that, he was 8th in the Louisiana Derby. He didn't get anything out of that race, and then he ends up taking 6 weeks off and coming back in the Kentucky Derby and finishing a wide 6th. Now, trainer D. Wayne Lucas said he didn't think he got anything out of the Louisiana Derby, and he said he was probably going to be short for the Kentucky Derby. I think he was right. He did make a bit of a move. He made it all the way up to 4th before he ended up 6th. Not a bad effort in a 20-horse field. He's looked good this week. I've taken some pictures of him. I've seen good look. He looks like his coat's glistening. He looks good. He looks like he's ready to run a good race. Whether that's good enough to threaten for the top spots, I don't know, because your top 2 contenders, Good Magic and Justify, are just much quicker than the rest of the field. So I think this race, it's Justify's race to lose. If he runs his best race, he wins. Good Magic should be right with him. If Justify regresses just a little bit, Good Magic could win. Any of the others, it would be an upset. They're just not fast enough on paper. Look for Lone Sailor number 2 as the lone closer to possibly hit the board. And then Bravazo could outrun his odds. He's 20-1, morning line. He's got running style versatility. Now, if you're interested in the complete digest from Today's Racing Digest for Preakness Day from Pimlico for Saturday, May 19th, go to todaysracingdigest.com. That complete digest for the Preakness. Tons of information, analysis, all the Today's Racing Digest speed figures, workout analysis, and more. You can get that at todaysracingdigest.com. And my Preakness full card will also be available at todaysracingdigest.com. All the races from Pimlico Racecourse, including in-depth analysis of the 2018 Preakness Stakes with wagering strategies. And you can find that at todaysracingdigest.com. That will wrap up this week's video. We'll be back next week with another stakes race from around the country.